What if Todo was in Yuji's position in Shibuya and went up against Choso? This fight will not only determine the stronger brother of Itadori, but also go over why this match isn't close. Now, starting off with Choso, the only fight he participates in Shibuya is against Yuji, who at the start of the fight has a pierced arm. And despite this, he's able to damage Choso's base with just 3 solid blows. However, not only does his piercing blood have a 50% chance of killing Itadori, but Choso just outright defeats him with flowing red scales. Choso after these events would go on to press Kenjaku, though he's not serious, and even managed to outsmart the likes of Naoya, who Itadori post Shibuya couldn't tag. Now, Yuji by the point of the Yuta and Naoya fight has gotten stronger, so it's safe to assume Choso has as well. And this wouldn't really stop here, as we see him go on to power up against Kenjaku with his 3 brothers amp, and this allows him to not only damage Kenjaku with piercing blood, but in his words like Yuji, uses raw power. I've seen people take this at face value and say this outright means Choso should scale above Yuji, but I mean, I think with the feats against Kenjaku, it does kind of seem like post Shibuya Yuji is getting smoked by this Choso. However, this match is mainly going into the Shibuya aspect of the fight, so just keep in mind the Kenjaku stuff in the back of your mind till then, and just acknowledge that Shibuya Choso doesn't have that many feats. As for abilities, he mainly likes to start off by sniping his enemies with the move Piercing Blood, but he does have other alternatives like the Buckshot Supernova along with Flowing Red Scales for close quarters combat. He can enhance his durability by hardening his blood, along with now being able to utilize Esso's Poison, and even Yuji's raw affinity for physical combat. It's safe to say that this brother is built different. However, it's time to talk about the original brother. Aoi Todo was a student first introduced as the funny dude who body slammed Megumi and asked about his taste in women. He'd show off more what he's capable of in the Goodwill event, taking Itadori in as his younger brother and teaching him to grow as a sorcerer. Even after Itadori's rapid growth and now being able to damage Hanami blow for blow, Todo does as well if not better than Itadori and can utilize things like Playful Cloud to just clown on Hanami. We then see him later on in Shibuya intercept Mahito and assist Itadori against him in his final confrontation, leading into all 3 of them drawing out 120% of their max potential. Todo during this confrontation was honestly finessing Mahito pretty badly, with Mahito, even despite knowing how his ability works, still could barely touch him. I'm not gonna lie to you, before Mahito's domain went off, Todo was kinda on timing against him, and even despite losing his arm and getting hit with a black flash, he still managed to survive the blow and even go on to be fast enough to fake out Boogie Woogie a transformed Mahito, allowing Itadori to deal his finishing blow. Unfortunately though, after this point, Todo's done jack shit, but he's still a powerhouse nonetheless. And as for abilities, Todo just mainly relies on Boogie Woogie swapping him and the opponent's placement, allowing him to essentially just be untouchable. But other than that and his really good understanding of cursed energy, he doesn't really have any hacks. Now firstly, let's analyze the main scenario everyone wants to see, that being these 2 fighting in Shibuya. For this, I'll say Todo is replacing Yuji, and he'd basically go down the stairs like Yuji, locking eyes with Choso. I think unlike in canon, Choso isn't just going to use Piercing Blood off rip like he did, or at least wait a few seconds before deciding to use it since it's not Itadori. But if Todo mentions, let's say he's looking for his brother Itadori, Choso by affiliation would just get mad and then would shoot a Piercing Blood regardless. However, this not only gives Todo more time to react than Itadori, but also understand that his opponent off rip has range. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. If not, just keep following. You see, Piercing Blood already can be dodged by Itadori, though he has a 50% shot at doing so. Even despite being caught off guard, he can put up his guard, and even with 1 destroyed arm could significantly harm Choso. Not only does Todo help Yuji fight Mahito, who clowned on him earlier, but is able to withstand and tag a post Black Flash amped Mahito, which we know amps you exponentially. Mahito as well is a character who just improves as the fight goes on, so it would just further show that Todo is definitely faster than the Itadori, who already has a good shot at reacting or even putting up his guard against Choso's Piercing Blood, meaning he'd have plenty of time to, let's say, clap his hands. If you didn't already get what I was hinting at, basically I'm saying that you can make the case for Todo clapping his hands and making Choso OHKO himself with his own Piercing Blood, which unironically Choso has no real answer to. If Mahito, who's not only a stronger disaster curse but also has a better understanding of Todo's ability and how it works, and he still couldn't touch him, then Choso would never even see himself getting hit with his own piercing blood coming, or even touch Todo. He can try to use flowing red scales to close the gap, but Boogie Woogie allows him to take the battle to a whole new level, being virtually untouchable. All he needs is one solid black flash kick to the head or a Boogie Woogie piercing blood combo, and it's GG's from there. And I already know you guys are going to ask, so I'll answer this while I'm at it. Choso with his 3 brothers amp probably could beat Todo. Yuji by the end of the incident comes out slightly faster than Todo, and not only does Choso somewhat inherit that physical power, but more than likely surpasses it as he can land crazy hits on Kenjaku. And although he's probably not going all out, Kenjaku is such a powerful character that I think it doesn't really matter all that much, and a piercing blood, even with Todo concentrating all of his cursed energy, would absolutely obliterate Todo's defenses on some Exodia shit and giving him the W. So overall, current peak Choso should win, but if they were to fight in Shibuya, Choso's getting shoved into a locker.